Hey guys, welcome to episode number 160 of the Game On Girlfriend podcast. Today, I get to bring you Miss Miriam Schulman. She is amazing. You guys are going to love her. She is an artist and she's the founder of The Inspiration Place, which is also a podcast, which is rated like in the top 1% of podcasts and is listened to in over 100 countries. She teaches artists how to price their art and how to make a dang good living doing what they love. And as you listen to today's episode, what I hope you really listen for is the way she talks about pricing. Even if you don't consider yourself an artist, what you do based on your talent is art. The world is kind of ugly right now, right? There's a lot going on that isn't great, and we need your art. We need your talents. We need your beauty out there in the world. We need it desperately right now. And Miriam is one of those great, amazing business coaches that really helps artists do that and do it well. And we talk about email marketing, which, you know, if I could like put a light bulb above my head right now, I would. So awesome. And what I'm really excited about is she has a brand new book that is coming out on January 31st, 2023. The link to that book and to get some goodies around that book is right beneath this video. So make sure you grab it. She's offering the first chapter of her book for all you listeners. Please go get it. It's going to be gorgeous. All right. So without further ado, let's get to it. Miriam, welcome to the Game On Girlfriend podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. I have to say, I just love what you do. Can you share with us just a little bit about why this is your thing? We have so many listeners I know who are going to be like, I'm an artist, I'm a photographer, this is what I love. They're just going to die to know how you got started in this.
Well, like so many other people, I wanted to be an artist, but I was told you couldn't make a living out of it. And I believed them. Well, if the point is to make as much money as possible, then let me make as much money as possible and I'll go work on Wall Street because apparently that's where they make a lot of money. And after 9/11 happened, it became very clear to me, this is not what I was going to do with my life. And it wasn't until I took a job at New York Sports Club as a Pilates instructor, and they were teaching me how to sell personal training packages. And I was like, oh, selling is a skill. I can use this to sell anything. My whole life changed. I can do this for selling my portraits. This is awesome. So that's when things took off for me.
I wish every single person on the planet would get that lesson.
That it's a skill.
It's just a skill.
It's just a skill. And it's not like you are born a good salesperson.
This is like my favorite topic. And I'm so excited that you're an artist teaching this because I think the world is in desperate need of more art. Right? There's so much ugly. It'd be nice to have a lot more beauty.
Whenever we have an existential crisis, whether it was 9/11, which it was for me, the AIDS crisis, World War II, and now the pandemic, whenever you have this existential crisis where people are looking for more meaning in their life, and that's where art comes in. Art is what gives our life meaning. So art really matters.
You talk a lot about pricing and different kinds of pricing. And I'd love to dive into that a little bit. Can you share with us your perspective of pricing?
Yes, I'm so excited. I love this. All right. So one of the chapters in my book is called Think Like an Abundant Artist. And there are 14 lessons there. And one of my favorite ones, and I know you want to talk about this, is the difference between prestige and charm pricing.
I love these names. Did you come up with these names? These are the best names.
These I did not come up with. This is based on research. That's what was super fun about this book, was actually like backing up some of the things like that I've kind of knew or suspected. And then like, see, there's proof, like, here we go. So let me talk about what charm pricing is. That's what most of us are familiar with. That is when you are pricing, let's say it's a coaching package for $497 instead of $500. So that's charm pricing because we're going to perceive $497 as being in the 400s. Now you see places like Walmart using charm pricing. They price things to the penny. So you walk in and it's like $14.97. And that is because they are communicating to their customers that every penny matters. And they attract penny pinchers. That may not be something you want to do in your business. So let's talk about prestige pricing. So here's the research, Sarah. So they did research about champagne, and the researchers showed that people were more likely to buy a luxury item like a bottle of champagne when it was rounded. In other words, they were more likely to buy a bottle of champagne when it was priced at $40, 40.00, rather than $38 and something cents or 41 and something something. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because the rounded numbers are processed by the feeling part of our brain. The numbers that end in 99 or 97 are processed by the logical side of the brain. So when you're selling something like art, or you want someone to invest in something that is a premium product, a high-end thing like a retreat, what side of the brain would you rather your prospect be using, the feeling side or the logical side? I have a program that I do price just under $2,000. So that one is $1,997. But then I have the next level up, my accelerator, it's $5,000 even, not $4,999.
Right, not $4,997. Right?
No.
Yeah.
And because if you price something that way, then you can't complain when you attract penny pinchers.
There's so much to that. In really making sure that you are working with the people you want to work with, and that you're attracting people that really want to play and really want to learn and are all in development. I just think this is so cool. I love this idea.
When I was selling online classes, when I raised the price of my classes, people liked it better. One of my very first classes was watercolor portraits. The first time I offered it for $97, and people liked it. The next time I offered it without changing anything, that's the key. Without changing anything, I raised the price to $197, and I got such better reviews. Oh, this is such a good class. You're such a good teacher. And it's really because they are valuing it more. So sometimes we lower the price. We think, oh, we're making it more affordable. No, you might be doing your clients a disservice.
Right. Because
if you make something too cheap.
Yeah. They don't value it. Right. I've really noticed that. Like if someone's really paid for something, I mean, I've noticed this even in myself, right? If I've really paid for something, I'm like, okay, and now what are we doing? And now like you're really invested, and you're going to listen, and you're going to learn so much more.
That's
than if you're like, yeah, I'll get to that later, because you don't really care. I know you happen to believe that the future of marketing is not social media, which I know I can think of about 45 regular listeners who just got really happy. What do you think is the future of marketing?
Oh, it's email, 100%. Email. It's really old school stuff. So not just email, but even physical pieces of mail. So really? I've done that not just for selling art, because that sounds more obvious, you send an invitation to an art show, but even with my webinars, if you can identify 100 to 200 people who are your hottest prospects for something, it pays to send them physical mail. So you can send them a save the date postcard for a webinar. And the other thing I've done, which absolutely has paid for itself and 10 times over, is I've taken my sales pages and turned it into a booklet, which you can make
like
the PDF.
A physically printed booklet?
A physical booklet.
I forgot about that.
I think I used Vistaprint to do it. I'm not sure. And sent it again. So who do you send it to? You look at somebody who has bought something from you in the past, who has not bought the thing that you're selling, who is most likely then to want it. These work. I have used them to sell online classes and programs. So physical mail works, and email. Let's talk about email versus Instagram. When I first started writing the book, the research showed that the average engagement rate on Instagram was 1%. 1%.
I think by the time by
the time I got to editing that part of the book, it had dropped to 0.6%. I've had clients who've had reels go quote unquote viral, like maybe $45,000 views, and only got a few new followers, which doesn't surprise me, because the way TikTok and reels work, I call it the death of the scroll. They all work that they want you to go on to the next thing. Nobody is stopping to engage with your content, to check out your profile or do anything. People will say to me, well, Miriam, not everyone opens my emails. Okay. Let's just talk about averages. Yep. We can do better than average. We're better than average, but the average open rate is 18%, not 1%, 18%. And here's the biggest difference, Sarah. The person who receives your email, they decide if they're opening it. On Instagram, the algorithm decides if they even see it.
It's like they're just coming in and deciding and totally taking over your audience.
Well, it's their audience. That's what we forget. We think it's ours, and it never was.
Oh, I love this so much. So what is it that you think people can do really well in email marketing?
So I call the emails your love letters. And you have to think about it as loving on your buyer. Now, this is one of the places where I did bring in a little bit of art history. So back in the early part of the century, there were these two sisters, the Cohen sisters, who were collectors. They collected Picassos at the time of their death. They had 100 Picassos.
Oh my gosh.
But they had 700 Matisses. Why? Why did they have so many more Matisses than Picasso? Because he wrote to them, because he nurtured that relationship.
Head to toe chills again. Oh my God. Really? That's really why?
Yes. Oh yeah. So the Baltimore Museum did a whole exhibit called Etta Cohn, or I forget the exact name, but it was about Etta Cohn, because she was the younger sister who really had the relationship with Matisse. And they have all the documentation of the letters that went back and forth. He would send her work in progress pictures. So this is kind of like, this is what our emails do.
That story is so telling. And I think the inbox, even today, is so personal, right? I mean, it's like, that's mine. And I can go through and delete, but I know who I'm deleting. And the other thing I love about it is that at least your name is in the inbox, even if they don't read that one, but then they read the next one. And when it comes to languaging or marketing inside of emails, do you have any advice for the artists and passion entrepreneurs listening when it comes to really expressing yourself inside of email?
Yeah. So I do give a list of words to avoid and to substitute instead inside of the book Artpreneur. I'll give you one example. So one of the words that make people feel like you're being salesy, because none of us want to be salesy, is the word buy, B-U-Y. Mm-hmm. So instead, you'll see, if you're an artist, you can use the word collect. If you are offering something like coaching, invest. Mm-hmm. And that's why you'll see smart marketers will use in the investment is because they know that the word buy has a more of a negative connotation.
Right.
So understanding that there are some words you can use, but really the main thing, it's less about the words and it's more about your own mindset. So one of the things that I teach inside Artpreneur is the belief triad. So the belief triad is belief in yourself. We've all heard that. Yes. Belief in your art or your product. We've all heard that too. But what people don't talk about is belief in your buyer, belief in your customer, belief that they want what you have, believing in them. And when you come from that place, everything you do will be better. It doesn't matter what words you use, whether you check out my chart or not. So coming from that place.
Love that. I love that. Oh my God. I'm so excited about this book. And you have an option for our listeners to kind of snag that first chapter. Is that right?
That's right. Okay. So you can go to schulmanart.com/believe, or through the magic of technology. So I said the future is not social media, but if you want to come over and connect with me, the one thing, Sarah, that I will say social media is good for, if you use it this way, is those one-to-one connections inside the DMs. So if you send me the word believe, and my handle's at Schulmanart, SCHULMANART, send me the word believe and I will connect with you. So initially you'll get a little automated message, but I do answer personally any personal questions that are sent to me, I do respond to. And that is what I think social media is for, being social.
Oh my gosh. Well, Miriam, thank you so much for spending time with us today. This was like jam-packed with nuggets and gooey goodness. So the book is coming out on January 31st, 2023.
Yes. So, but if this is going live before then, I do have some pre-order goodies.
Oh my gosh. Tell us all about it.
you'll see all the goodies. One of them is I put together a 12-part video series. I took each chapter title of the book. Each chapter title is an affirmation or a mantra that artpreneurs and entrepreneurs really need to embody for success. So like chapter 1 is choose to believe. Chapter 2 is break free of the golden handcuffs. Chapter 3 is start before you're ready. Every single chapter is one of these affirmations. So you get a video where I'm working inside an art journal page. If that's something that calls to you, you can do that too. But you'll get behind the scenes content. I read a little from the book. I give you a little bit of extra in there.
Awesome. All right, you guys, check that out. We will have that linked under this video or in the show notes, depending on how you're enjoying today's conversation. Miriam, thank you again so much. This has been wonderful.
It was super fun, Sarah. Thanks so much for having me.